Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Unlimited Railworks Gamesline's anime podcast. I'm your host, Rose, and we are going to have a discussion about a certain anime that we watched this month. But first, it's the introductions, as it were. We have to do the clapping from the opening, I guess. I don't know. John's here. Hi, John.
Hello, I'm here to talk about this particular animated video of many episodes.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. It has even more than we watched somehow. And Maverick's also here.
Hey, what's up?
Hey. And Elvie's here.
Hello.
Hi. So yeah, we're going to talk about Hidamari Sketch, which was a patron pick for the month. It is, of course, a very popular... it's a groundwork laying... What's the word I want to use? It's like
fundamental.
Fundamental. It's like a real
Defining.
base point. Defining is a good one. It's a work that really helped define the slice of life genre, I feel like. It was a manga series that was in Manga Time Kirara, which is, of course, popular consistently for, this type of work nowadays, but maybe less back then. And it was made into an anime by Shaft in 2007, which was around the same time they did Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei, which was crazy to me. I don't know much about early Shaft. I don't know if any of you do. But this felt like a real, defining Shaft work also, with just their work in, mixing, live action bits and animation in general. But yeah, it's about art students at an art high school, which I did not know existed until I watched this the first time, 10 years ago or something, whenever I watched Madoka. It's about these mainly four students, Miyako, Hiro, and Sai, and also, their really cool teacher, also Yoshinoya Sensei, but we'll get into that later. Just sort of, hey, this is what they do all day. This is the events that occur in their life, jumping around from season to season. There's some continuity, but not really. Mainly just focused on capturing that day-to-day vibe of being a burgeoning artist sort of, and growing up, that style of thing. But mainly it's about girls fucking around, right? That's how these shows are. It's sort of established the paradigm for that. But yeah, Elvie, do you wanna open up real quick for us about your thoughts on Hidamari Sketch?
Sure.
I don't know if you've seen it before or not.
I've not actually seen.
Oh wow! Okay.
Well, I've not actually seen the series in proper. Actually sat down and okay, I'm gonna watch each episode chronologically, which is moot because like you said, it doesn't really really have a continuity.
There's the little bits time passing, the caterpillar in the middle that they were going at, or something
there's
like that.
A new student, there's new girls, stuff like that. Someone's graduating, but then it doesn't matter. And it's still, and the series itself is still ongoing. Apparently.
Yeah, which I didn't know until right now. I had assumed it ended in 2016 or something.
Right. Uh-huh.
Because it was less shocking that it was still running when I watched this the first time in 2013 or whatever.
Yeah.
But 2023.
Still going.
It's 20 years. 20 years next year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those girls should be twice their age than they actually are depicted, right?
Where's the MILF art? They have flip phones in this. The world is a different place.
Yeah, this is the series, the anime, came out around 2007, 2006. Yeah, so it was weird. And when you watch it, if you watch the first season, there's something about the art style that feels very old. It feels very of that time. Yet, for anyone who is familiar with Madoka, you can just see it. You can kind of see those footprints as well. Not just in terms of Shaft, pivoting. I don't know about entirely pivoting, but this collage, weird mixed media, and kind of intentionally surrealist production design, becoming their signature signature thing after that. Because before they've done this, they've done totally like, I don't know, they've done like a weird mixture of like what I would call like standard of the mill like kind of drama series that no one really I don't know, they're not really well lauded or not really well acclaimed.
Yeah, that's what I was
too like shit
picking
posting
up.
like comedy sort of things like Penny Pony Dash. I remember that vaguely, but they also done something like This Ugly Yet Beautiful World, and it's like I clearly remember watching that, and that does not look like what you would expect out of this studio in particular. I think it's crazy. And like you said, I didn't realize they were doing Zetsubo Sensei at the same time. But like what's crazy is that they applied that stuff to something like this, which is supposed to be like a very mundane, slice of life show about girls fucking around. Yet combined with the art style by, Umi Aoki, that artist who did Hidamari Sketch and eventually is pretty much the signature main artist for all the Madoka stuff. Something about it is very sinister. Like I keep watching this. It always felt like something bad was going to happen and never quite does. There's something like at least there's something always off that never really sees to fruition. And I think because it really does set. Yeah, like I said, for something about this really set the framework to Madoka specifically. I immediately think of the episode where they're going to the summer festival. First of all, the blonde one, she's fucked up. There's something wrong with her.
Oh,
She's a fucked up girl.
Well, all she eats is dried food all day, right?
Yeah,
There's got to be something going on there.
She's out of her mind. Miyako is her name, I think.
Yep.
They're going to the summer fest. First of all, her character is just twisted. First of all, the summer festival, they're like, oh, they're picking their yukata and all that. And she gets the shortest one, like intentionally shortest one. It's like, what? Okay, I don't like where this is going. But nothing comes out of it. Like, the show is not fan servicey at all. And at least in terms of the main girls. Like, maybe there's some weird moments, but it's a lot of it.
It's like
in service to each other again, I think. And also when they are like talking about how crazy the teacher is, too, they clearly, there's a huge distance between those things. But yeah, in the summer festival episode, they keep like having this like side conversation over like, oh, Miyako's so strange. Why is she acting so weird? They say like people can be like possessed by like a fox spirit, like a kitsune. And there's that insane like weird sequence that again is very Shaft where there's no background. And she like walks very slowly and does this jump as if possessed by a fox. And it turns out like, oh, wow. Look at the fireworks. They were just walking up a hill to point out the fireworks. And everyone is like, what the fuck was that? That was so weird. And they never really follow up on that. They never like answer like, was there something wrong with her? Like, is there something? And she is the weirdest character out of all of them. She is the most eccentric out of all of them. But nothing insane or bad happens out of that. Like, again, they keep having these, and to me, it's also like amazing about this series that this is a slice of life school girl show where they actually do talk about school and they actually do.
Yeah, they engage with their material, right?
It's like, oh my God, they actually showed them going to art classes. Like, oh wow, that's crazy.
And thinking about it too, like
I'm thinking about it, and then their teachers, like, it's like, whoa, okay, they're actually talking about homework, like what you see underneath.
And not just as like the nebulous concept of homework, like specifically like what these things are and what they're learning from it. Yeah,
like. The joke about the Inuyasha series is at some point she just stops attending school. So it's like, what was the point of, you know what I mean? But they actually talk about school, and school's actually a part of it, even though it's like maybe only half of it, even still a little less than half of it. But school's actually pretty present in their lives. They are schoolgirls. But stuff like that. They always have these side conversations about, well, I heard about this crazy thing. Or like, oh, that was weird. And they never, they don't do anything with it. And it's like, and something about that someone got somewhere in their, like someone in their staff was like, oh, that's like weird. That's very unnerving and can make someone anxious. Let's use that again. Let's do that again for Madoka, which like makes a lot of sense for a series like that. That's a huge subversion of something that seems cute on the surface, but in reality, there's something more ominous. And in this case, there's nothing ominous. Again, except for the insane teacher. Really. And sometimes, again, the blonde with Miyako. It's just girls like gossiping kind of, it kind of gets this feel of like, oh, that was, like just going day by day conversations where once in a while you're going to bring up something weird, but never really act upon it. It's just overall a cute show, and a very slow paced show, but it definitely has like a lot of these, like, it is interesting to see something like this and see where like, where it has taken things in regards to influencing some similar anime down the line. And again, very specifically, the weird pathway to Madoka.
Yeah, like, I love the intersection of them finding that style of mixing, like I said in the opening, like the real world and the animation style of like her teddy bear just being a PNG, like that's fucking great. Like all of that stuff, the arts and crafts being like really granularly represented as their specific like item and what they look like the statues and everything.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's such a good style, and I'm glad that like Chef keeps it alive, even still. Like Monogatari is a great example of that intersection. I think one thing that like disappointed me watching this again was realizing like, I think that I was saying it a little bit before the show, like it just feels more realistic in its mundanity compared to like a lot of other slice of life shows, where like in a lot of other slice of life shows, like everything goes right all the time, unless it would be funny. And then in this one, it feels like it really captures like the back and forth of like I think like the strongest episode to me was the episode where Yuno is sick and you just see her insane fever dreams.
It just gets worse.
It's just like, that's what it's like when you're sick, right? Like it's just a bad time. And I think like it just helps this feel a lot more like a chronicle of like someone's like day-to-day lives, or like these four girls' day-to-day lives. And like I also liked in the I think it's the second to last episode where Sai's sister comes and visits. And just like the way that she leaves in the morning while everyone's half asleep and she's just like whispering like, okay, I'm going is like, that's real shit, like that's like what happens when someone does that in real life, versus like, I feel like so much slice of life after it is very choreographed and like considered from like the ideal perspective rather than like focusing on how it's actually represented in real life. And I really liked that about watching this again.
When you saying that, I really like the karaoke bit. And they're all saying insane things, but then when you think, one of them, she outright has an eating disorder, and it's like upsetting. But when you think about it, it's like, oh, that's unfortunately, sadly, like a realistic thing.
Yeah,
like a girl her age to go, and a lot of, and like it's like a weird conversation. Like they're all back and forth, and then none of them can sing well. Well, only 3 out of 4 of them can sing well, and to me, I was thinking about that too. That's very funny to me that like if these are professional voice actresses, they're forcing themselves to sing bad. But like those conversations they were having, I think, was a very like kind of more realistic like back and forth between like what teenage girls would talk about, and sometimes it's sadly not pretty and pretty problematic. And I think that was just very interesting to take in. Man. And then they just go home, and that was it.
Yeah, you saying
but
that.
And like you said, like, oh, it's just showing mundane. Like, they are not. There was nothing in that where they were intentionally creating a problem. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they feel like they need to make up like a source of conflict there. Like, I feel like a scene like that usually is a catalyst for something else in any other anime, like or like people suddenly get competitive.
Yeah,
there was none of that dynamic. It was very much just like, oh, we're just having fun and hanging out. And then again, we're throwing in the weird thing of like, oh my god, the teacher's next door. Like, again, like this kind of weird like out of place thing here and there. But other than that, for the most part, that dynamic in the karaoke room is like, oh yeah, this is just pretty run of the mill. We're not making any intentional conflict or
and when they make conflict for an episode, as it were, like if we think about the lottery episode where they get lottery tickets, it's not like in a normal like modern more slice of life stuff, like most slice of life things, it would become the crux of the entire episode instead of this weird thing that they're like, they're just like leaning into having fun with it more than anything. Yeah,
they're I appreciate too that they're not like, there isn't like a competitive angle across all of them. Like none of them are like trying to spotlight each other at all. They're very much just like, I feel like on a pretty generally equal level playing field in terms of being a character to each other and like the in-universe depiction of what their relationships are with each other.
That does lead me into a good trend, because I wanted to ask you about this, John, because I know you weren't crazy about it, but I did want to say it was at least better to you than Yu Yu Shiki, right? Because I feel like the girls' rapport is like much more realistically, even.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to like rip my eyes out while I was watching this one. I mean, I know this might sound a little dumb, but honestly, like just hearing Elvie and you talk about this for a moment made me appreciate it just a little bit more. Like, I still am not a super big fan of this or anything. This is definitely just something that, like, I'm not gonna watch more of it. But, yeah, like, in a way, the mundanity is part of its charm. Like, a lot of shows after this, I think, that are those shows that are cute girls doing cute things, slice of life stuff. This show laid that groundwork because it wasn't trying to be anything like those shows. It wasn't trying.
Yeah.
It was just trying to be a story about these characters. This very casual, very just. This is them. This is these characters. This is their day-to-day life. We are taking a peek into their life. They are not anything special. They are not going on any crazy adventures. They are literally just like you and me. And this is just random days in their life. Like, they very specifically are like, yeah, this is like March 13th. This is November 3rd. Like, they're
It's my birthday. They did one on my birthday.
yeah, they're just like picking days. Like, this isn't like, like the last episode's on Christmas or whatever, but even then, it's not like anything super crazy happens. Like, a family member comes to visit. They have a little bit of a spat because they're family, and then they, kind of just figure it out, and they're fine, and they move on, and they start getting ready for New Year's, and it's just that. It's what we do. It's what everyone else does, and that I can respect it. Like, this is something that, again, I'm probably not going to watch more of. But it's cool that it exists. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool that it's there.
It feels like an actual slice of life, like literally. Whereas, like, I think about like just like one-off shows, like the fishing shows that I've watched or whatever, or the fucking like aquarium anime, even like those aren't realistic, right? Like, they all have to have this like crazy backstory, or like, and like, I don't get me wrong, I get the appeal of the gag characters, like the foreigner, all these other bits that go into this genre nowadays. But it's like, there's something to like, hey, this is just how life is, and like, you find solidarity in that, or you find like, a piece of yourself within. And that's what I think is really effective about it.
Yeah, like every friend group got the timid friend, the dieter, the writer, the freak.
Yeah. The Yoshinoya sensei.
Oh, God.
You want to talk about the perfect woman, in my opinion,
Look, all I am asking for in life is a chance to fix her.
I really like how demented she is. I feel like having her as a gag character is a good one, because I feel like even that makes sense, like, as ridiculous as she is, like, you run into so many teachers in school that there's just always a teacher like that. Who's like, yeah, I'm the cool one. I'm the main character teacher.
Yeah, when I think about it now, well, first of all, glad she's not like an alcoholic.
Yes.
I mean, that's also another issue in other slice of life school. Like, why?
Now listen,
we
the
don't
keys
need
to my heart are very specific. And
but yeah, the alcoholic, like, disenchanted teacher, which is like a bummer. It's like, come on, don't.
Yeah.
And also just annoying too, because sometimes too that character goes too far in terms of like they get too involved with the kids, and it's like, it just sucks. It's not funny to me personally. There's something about it too where like I can see her, and again, I'm probably overreading, but like I can see her too that she's probably not as weird as the characters are making her out to be, again, like she's constantly like this gag character that they keep talking about, like, oh man, I saw her the other day, like, oh, that she I didn't really, and then also kind of idealizing her, like, oh, I want to be her when I grow up, she's so pretty, she's so cool, look at her, and like these like risque cosplay outfits. I feel like too, there's something about it where she's I think she's warped in their own perspective as well as students. And you're right, Rose, as you were going to probably get on more, where she is that teacher that is cringe. That probably,
the fun
oversteps
teacher.
Her bounds a little, that oversteps her bounds a little in terms of trying to be too cool and hip with the youngins, but also in terms of like our memories of people like that in our lives. Like perhaps that wasn't the case. Maybe they really were just normal and not really that, as our memories probably warped and over-exaggerated how they were, right?
Yeah, maybe. I'm sorry. Whenever we get to this, I just think about the one teacher where it was like, after the fact, oh no.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely.
I was gonna say she's gonna make the violin apology or the ukulele apology video on YouTube. She's gonna do that someday.
No,
I'm gonna have a
absolutely.
conversation with her talking about fucking End of the World after she directs our school play, and then find out like 3 years later that she's in an article because she got downloaded hard drive crimes
No!
and taught at the
absolutely-
elementary school.
No.
Yeah, no, it was bad.
Well, I won't pin that on Yoshinoya Sensei. I think she's on the level.
No. I'm yeah, fun times at my school district is what I'm saying.
God.
Oh,
But I absolutely did not mean that. But like in a
no,
sense of like,
Yoshinoya is definitely the kind of person.
in a sense of like, oh, maybe she's just like, just a very general sense of like, she probably is more normal than like how they're perceiving her from, and we as the viewer are in their perspective, so to speak.
Yeah, because I think like this came up in the one of the two special episodes, which I didn't really get to because it's a 12 episode series for that first season, and then I think like a year later they added just like a additional 2 as like a special block or something.
Mm-hmm.
Those are full on just fan service from what I can tell.
Yeah.
So I mean it's not like you're missing much, so to say, out of like, oh god, how many episodes of Hidamari Sketch do I need to watch to catch up? Like, you're fine. But one of the bits is just sort of like this scene with the principal, the landlord, and Yoshinoya just hanging out at like the school pool. And I don't know, like that is definitely a scene where it is much more like the moment where you have the adults in one space is an interesting contrast where you do see like the character beats that the main group is witness to, but then also, splicing that in with just people that are outside of that main focus, which was neat. They gave the landlady a pretty hot swimsuit too, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Love it. No, I didn't realize that there are just a lot of like intersections with this show where it's slotted between, the making of Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei, which is Elvie, you mentioned a lot of that darkness, like
A total contrast to this, yeah.
yeah. Where, a lot of that is going to be right over there, but then you're still borrowing a lot of these techniques to, illustrate this sensation of high school life, which the manga itself being made back in 2004, where the mangaka was only like 21, so still pretty like rooted in what that experience was like.
Very
I assume.
fresh.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a way to mix everything there together, and from that point, like, I think overall the dream vibes that are present in a lot of the show are really, really good. It helps to build a foundation for Madoka Magica. It helps to build a foundation for Monogatari too, when you really get down to it. It's a really interesting show in terms of like where it lines up there historically, and then also, like what people then start to crave out of this kind of a genre, where like Keion kind of looking at this and saying, oh, let's, do sort of similar idea with the club, but also they just hang out.
Yeah.
And from there, it's kind of just been, you have the idea of choice, but then you're also hanging out. And I don't know. Like, I also appreciated the episode where, like, they invite the old senpai over, like the graduated film.
Yeah.
And there's just that moment where, being in that kind of an artistic space, is just like, oh God, what is my dream? What am I doing? What do I want to do? And it's just like one of the few times, especially in a mid-2000s series, that's just okay with the idea to be ambiguous about that. Which I'm sure, like, if anyone was watching that in high school, probably really appreciated it. But it's so rare when you also have shows where it's like, all my life, it's been my dream to do this. All my life, I've wanted to take care of something.
That's extremely how I felt about this. Like, it's such a... Like, just everything iterative of it is so in that vein of, like, the chosen one. Who has a goal, and then they set out and do the goal or whatever.
Or archetypes.
Yeah. I really like that episode also in general, for if you want to talk about things high schoolers need to hear, when Yoshinoya is like, what? Or did you break up with your boyfriend? And she's like, that was like 5 years ago. What are you talking about? You're insane. Just stuff like that, like just real shit all the time. That's what I really appreciated about it. Like, it's just, yeah. I had a nice time.
It comes from the spirit of somebody that has lived that experience, and having the original mangaka on board with the series at the start. I don't know if they're still attached to it after the fact, but yeah, you can definitely tell that it's got a lot of heart. Not to say that the other ones don't. Like, I think for the other ones, it comes off in different ways. Where, like, Afro Sensei, I'm sure, loves camping so much and has that bleed over into laid back camp in a way that still makes that cast feel very experienced and, enjoyable to be with. But here it's much more looser in what it wants to, like, represent in terms of what that everyday life looks like.
Yeah. John, I did have a question for you.
Hit me.
How do you feel about Ume Aoki representing herself as a metapod?
I respect it.
Yeah.
I respect it, and I, believe that we should all strive to find a bug-type Pokemon that we enjoy the most.
Well, I was really happy.
Glycopod.
Glycopod. I was really happy in that vein, actually, now that you say that, that the caterpillar did the same shit that happened to me every time that anyone I knew got a caterpillar and decided to keep it at home, and it just turns into a horrible moth that's ugly. That's the real shit.
Never a butterfly. Yeah.
Whereas now, these days, the modern slice of life, it would just be a butterfly, and they would all celebrate,
Yeah. So something that I will say, like, how Elvie was talking about how foreboding it felt sometimes. Like, yeah, like, I think watching, like getting Shaft's history a little backwards has just made this show a bit funnier.
Yeah.
Just how many times there are shots that are just from Madoka or from Monogatari. Like, there's so many things with, like, there's the kind of shots where it will just focus on, like, a single word or something like that. And, like, I feel like that works really well in Monogatari for what they're trying to do. But in this, it just feels fucking insane. Like, especially after watching Monogatari, it just, like... Dude, like, I'm just thinking about, like, Araragi and, like, Senjo Gahara having some kind of, like, super in-depth story or conversation that's somehow both about, like, her ass and the meaning of life. And, like, and here they're just, like... It's just like, okay, well, we're going to the beach, and then it just goes to, like, beach, and then it shows, like, a flash of, like, the sea, and then it flashes back to them just sitting there and talking, and it's great though, like, it's very funny. In
a different context, you would think, did someone die? What happened?
Yeah, like, it makes this show, like, dramatic at times, and absolutely the episode where the main girl is sick. was them just like flexing and preparing for their
Oh yeah,
bigger shows
it
like
was
that.
so dark. She just got so worse.
And it was fun. It was good. But again, like after watching Madoka and Bakemonogatari, I'm just like, yeah, that's it. That's it, baby.
What's your favorite real life object that they just copy pasted into a frame?
For me, it's got to be the bear. Like every time she went to bed with that fucking teddy bear, I was like losing my shit. Like that guy's the realest. Brutus was good too.
Bruce is very good. Yeah, the portrait session.
Oh,
The fact that they made like the real life principal head.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, it's so good. The principal.
Again, the ones that I shared, like the frame of Miyako with like just the old handle of like McDonald's fries.
Yeah,
And it's specifically like in that early 2000s style with like the exaggerated M. And then also just the hot dog elephant.
Yeah, the food is very good.
Yeah, I was gonna say my favorite is the vegetables that she got. Like
that was really good. Yeah,
Yeah, just a big bundle of
the mayo.
vegetables. Oh my god.
In that other episode where she had vegetables.
Christ.
When they open up the booklet and it's like these fucked up, likely real life photos or like photo bash stock photos put together, and it's like a fucked up filter over it, and it looks like what is it? It feels like if you bump the filter up, it would be like a photo attachment in someone's like creepypasta, right? It's really disturbing. And then they that's like in the second to last episode. It's like what? Why are like that's the first time too that I think they even show like at all like real humanoid or human people like in one of these collages, and it's really upsetting and so displays. But the food really is good. I still think. I mean, every episode, it's a real alarm clock. It's an alarm clock JPEG that whenever she wakes up, you know.
Except for when it's the jump scare.
Oh, yeah, the jump scare was pretty good, too.
It's a great way to get yourself up, I guess.
Yeah. Rose, I know that you tweeted it, but yeah, I did not expect that joke. It's just like...
Oh, yeah. I was going to say my only qualm with the show was the insane one transphobic joke that they make. That was like, whatever, it's fine, but it was like out of nowhere, out of left field in the show.
They do it like 2 or 3 times because
they
like,
did.
Yeah, like the like Genki chick like says it to the one girl like 2 or 3 times, and it's just like she's just like so casual about it, and it's just like, all right.
Here's the thing, Miyako is definitely that person in 2004 that you would need to still, like, it would be multiple conversations to, reorient gay in her lexicon, and also just get the R slur out of there.
Yeah, no, again, she is crazy. She is the craziest one. She needs to be, like, shaken. She has so many issues.
I think
she has demons inside of her, as they speculated, I think.
My girlfriend Natalie said it, that Miyako says that, and then Yuno says, don't say that, and she never says it again. In the show, some other characters do. Yeah, that was crazy when that happened, but you know what? I can forgive them because most of the show is them just, lesing out, as it were. So... we can move on if there's any, I feel like this one we don't have like, an hour long of things to say because it's just, it's nice. It's just
we promise that it's not that we have like less thoughts on it than Tech You, but also
we had a vent and we didn't really have to vent about much with this one, right? Like it was just sort of like
it was
dissecting it for the time.
I did like the OST. Like I've personally been on a like neo-acoustic, like Cardigans, Plastic Squeeze, like I've been in that early 2000s like lounge acoustic revival, and this OST hits that nail on the head, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
The opening of this first season, it has been in so many Japanese memes.
Oh,
throughout that time. Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, and like so many like remixes of various anime OPs. It was just very much like, oh yeah, I've heard this before too many times.
Like what, 2008? Yeah, no, this is primed for like MADs.
Yeah, one of those openings too that people have parodies for different fandoms, replacing the characters, etc. So definitely one of those.
Oh, I also gotta just, they heads be so damn fucking big.
They're so wide.
Yeah. I loved that
Wide.
someone posted about it like right before we watched it on Twitter of like just like when they made the Blu-rays that have more what are they're 16 by 9 instead.
Yeah,
they just made them wider.
YMG.
For the longest time I didn't realize that like Miyako was the getting the VC gif. So this like
You learned something new every day.
I learned something new every day. Like I've seen these women in my life and I've just never put the dots until getting to experience this.
Mm-hmm. This is another one that I'm glad that we watched because even though I'd seen it before, you know, I was a lot younger, and I feel like I was happy to learn a bit more about the history of the genre, as it were.
I probably would have liked this a lot more if I watched this when I was younger, just because, yeah.
You
like,
think so?
I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna
Not
be
having
fucking.
the other, not having the other things that like built off of it, I think, is definitely something.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, for me, I'm just like, I'm gonna be fucking 29 in like 2 weeks. I'm ready to just like be. I am getting pretty done with like school stuff in shows, but just the fact that this is very just like chill and realistic and nice. It's just like, okay, I can appreciate this for what it is, but also like. I would love to watch a show that's this, but they're like in their 30s and they're
maybe someday we'll get that, you know? Like I know that they graduate and go to college and all that other stuff. I was reading some up about like stuff that happens. I know like they have like a mutual aid association and all this other stuff that they get into, which sounds nice.
All right.
Oh,
Real
that's
shit.
Cool. Yeah, you're primed for like the manga about like the two guys that are hanging outside of like the konbini and smoking.
Yeah.
That's where you're at.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I should probably check that out. I mean, I've been reading more manga, so fuck it. I'll check that out maybe. So we do have a question. And I mean, we kind of talked about it already, but if there's anything else that y'all want to just throw out there, yeah, we got a question here on our Tumblr, which is gamesline.tumblr.com/ask, from Harm and Cretion, which is a really good URL, by the way. That's really good. Who says, Hida Sketch, the best of the best. How influential do y'all feel the show was to that which came after it? It's difficult for me to watch any slice of life post 2010 and not find some Hida Sketch in it. I mean, yeah, absolutely. It is just that. Like, of course, you know, there was stuff before it, like Lucky Stars before that, and I feel like that definitely was like the Lucky Star. I think was like the paved groundwork, and then Hidamari Sketch was like the planks of wood that they used to build the like skeleton of the house.
Yeah.
I feel like if anything, like Hidamari Sketch helps to alleviate the pressure that someone might feel of having to, you know, just do like a Lucky Star clone.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like a lot of Slice of Life manages to get out of that, and it's where we even see, you know, the delineation of not just Slice of Life, but like Iyashike and like these other iterations of what this whole genre can be. And yeah, I would say, like, if anything, like, this is a show that at least let itself loosen its tie, really just have fun with the process of animating, you know, because I'm trying to think. This is like 2008, 2007. We're getting a lot of that shonen boom. We're getting a lot of like these other projects coming out that are, you know, contextually, there are a lot of things happening that are sort of giving this other like boom, so to say, to anime, and to really help make it more of like a global standpoint than what it already was. Hida Sketch, as like easy it is to say it's like dismissive, is still something vital in terms of just being able to go like, nah, you can make a show about anything and people will be down. It's like this and like Yakitate Japan. Well, those two, and Genshiken. Like, those are the three that I think coming out around this point in the mid-2000s really showed that, like, this is a medium, and you are free to do more than just, like, animate the mundane and keep it as mundane, animate the fantastic and keep it at fantastic. Hidamari Sketch, I think, is a good blend of the two, and really shows what you can do later on.
I also
think oh, so sorry. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, real quick, I also think that it's just like, it has this nature of being extremely off-model all the time that like older anime is really good at, but like in that era they were sort of moving away from for the very stiff, Death Note style of animation, as it were. Of
or like unintentional, and you just get the fucking Gundam Seed series.
Yeah. It's just like that's a thing that this show did so well by like just making it part of the charm. Like, guess
look,
what?
As much as I'm not really a huge fan of it, I get it. The wide faces are iconic. Like, the fact that, like, if they want to just have a character be cheeky, they just
make them huge.
They make their face just wide as fuck.
Remember that episode that, like, I think it might be the Christmas one, but, like, they just have, like, the little man in the room?
Yeah.
The little man's just hanging out. At one point, Sai has to go get a call, and she just, like, fucking, like, kicks him over.
It's fucked up.
It's like shit like that, where it's just like there's so much stuff packed into a frame, but they're having fun with it, and I don't need to like. Again, it's not like, oh, I need to know every little detail of what's going on in this scene. No, fuck it. I'm having a good time when there's like a drawing of a hippo on two legs because somebody drew that and was like, hey, let's make this a. Shoutouts to whoever got to like or what is it? The person that got to like be the artist for Miyako, because they just had a lot of fun.
They're trying something for sure.
Yeah. Elvie, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I think an important thing to consider too is that compared to some of the bigger the big known classic, quote unquote classic slice of life stuff. Lucky Star was already mentioned. That happened before this, and Azumanga Daioh is the biggest one, right? That most people know about. This is like the first one I think that sustained and got popularity, but it was made by a woman, and I think that feeds a lot into like what we were talking about too, in terms of like these conversations and mundanity that was actually happening in the series feels more authentic, and also like. Just as, this is more realistic as to what girls would talk about and like just shoot the shit about, compared to something like Azumanga Daioh and Lucky Star. They were very clearly made by like male geeks who just wanted to use these girls as like mouthpieces to do whatever and have like funny comedy bits, which is fine. But then as a result, they're not realistic teenage girls,
or like,
right? They're just like they're just there for gags, yeah.
Or it'll take the mangaka a bit to like find that voice, but here,
absolutely.
it's like immediately, like, I understand everybody. It's not just, like, there are the tropes there. Like, Miyako is definitely a Genki individual, and then, like, I know her name's Hiro or whatever, but that's fucking Kanai Teto. You can't tell me otherwise. but, yeah, it's like, there's an understanding and a level of interiority that wouldn't have been possible if this was just, like, a show produced by a guy already in the industry.
Yeah, and they've, again, they're like, they're exaggerations, but they feel like exaggerations of like people actually personally known by the creator versus like those other examples, and still like a lot of examples today, which we did talk about too, where like there's still a problem, there's that problem now where a lot of slice of life are very much like rooted in archetypes, because I feel like they're following those archetypes and unfortunately not really coming from personal experiences, right? So that's why there is kind of like this interesting distance too, if you want to talk about K-On! Or K-On! The anime was made by, had a lot hand by a lot of women compared to the original source material, which was not actually, and people don't realize like the anime in a lot of ways improved upon that, and there is like a very interesting difference between those two things. So it definitely has set like a framework for not just slice of life in general, but I think like when it comes to at least showing that distinction between who's creating these things too, and I think that's important. So your stuff is to say, I wish there will be eventually more slice of life that like this that would be, kind of are more realistic, and not just like here are these idealized characters doing extraordinary things and everything works out. Like you said, Rose, with the caterpillar turns out to be a moth versus the kid versus it just comes out as a butterfly every time, and it's always a butterfly and it's never a moth.
Yeah. It's just little things like that all the time. Like, man, there's just so many little things that I really liked. Like, it's just because it's so real. Just the real shit. Just like that one episode where they're like, I guess we're going to jump off of the balcony to go downstairs. And it's like, why? Why would you do that?
And they try to do it.
Yeah. What if we just did it?
It was holy shit. Yeah.
Miyoko's just like, you gotta. I'm glad that we watched this. I was happy. Much better than Take You. Much better than Take You.
Much better.
All right, then we can get on to the show proper here now then. Because it's been a minute since we, had more time to discuss. I feel like we're always, cutting it up, as it were. Maverick, you were finishing a whole bunch of stuff today specifically. I feel like I was going to say this week, like in general today.
Some stuff I finished earlier in the week, and then specifically 2 other things I finished today. God, what is there to bring up? I mean, like Birdie Wing and Skip and Loafer are done. Skip and Loafer, great. Like, genuinely my favorite adaptation I've seen so far of a rom-com manga, and it makes me eager to go back and dip my feet in. Birdie Wing ended, and I don't know if I have much to say. Like,
just more of the same,
It leaned into what it was like doing already, and if you are expecting something subversive of what it was already showing you, you're not going to get that. But it at least, has a like moment where it kind of just says, yeah, of course, like these 2 people are going to be part of their lives for a substantial amount of time. So let's, not make this feel like the biggest stakes on the planet. Sorry, we're recording on the 4th of July, if you can't tell. And so I have no idea what is coming into my waveforms. But I think the biggest thing I want to talk about is just the fact that I finished Mobile Suit Gundam: The Witch from Mercury, and when I had talked about it before, John and I have been pretty, consistent where, we started really hot on this, and then as the series progressed, especially into the 2nd season, not really feeling as eager to continue. John, I don't know if you've caught anything at all from this season yet, or
I haven't caught up. I think I've watched an episode or 2. I know that a lot of people, this has been a very mixed reaction. I know that you're a bit more down than I feel like other people are, but I feel like I should at least finish it myself. Just have an actual full Gundam series under my belt.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you say full Gundam, but also, that's part of the whole thing, where ultimately the production on this show was really rushed. It, you'll see notes, you'll see it in the ending screen that you just have, so many key animators pop up by the end, because they just needed to get people in to finish these shows, 2 to 4 weeks before the next episode. It was a rushed job, and this is a series that ends at 25 episodes, which also I think fundamentally hurts what it is that they wanted to get to, because a lot of Gundam series are that year-long endeavor. I think we were talking about this last time too, that there is a thought that, oh yeah, we're going to get the next, installment. We're going to get the next section of this, but pretty definitively they say this is the end of the story, The Witch from Mercury. Maybe we'll get a continuation movie but it's like I'm not going to hold on to that hope, and because of that, that makes me more sour on just the overall experience. Where, you know, I feel like at no point in my mind did I ever doubt Suletta and Mirin getting together and having a like consistent relationship. The stakes there never felt like they were actually at risk.
Yeah.
I think they did a good job to present these characters to me, to present this kind of a relationship, and to do so in, you know, the current back and forth of what exactly anime stands at politically and how it can often be co-opted by very nationalistic, very conservative, and homophobic entities. This is a very good step in the other direction, and to have something more proudly, you know, free in what it wants to present, especially with the fact that, you know, this totally is something that, like, Tomino would co-sign. This is totally something in that original spirit of what Mobile Suit Gundam is about, which is the idea of being able to escape the Earth's gravity. And in that theme, specifically, we mean the systems that keep us so entangled in these cycles of violence, these cycles of hate, these cycles of segregation and power struggle. And so something like that definitely works out. But that said, you know, the rest of the series kind of suffers as a result of needing to make sure you stick this landing and stick it with just like half of a standard Gundam runtime, you know? At no point am I going to ask them to make more if this was the kind of production quality that was happening in the background. Hell no. Get out of that as fast as you can. And hopefully you find something better. But, you know, just this last set of episodes just felt very rushed, trying to get to this point where, all right, we're going to set up this data storm. Aries going to live this perfect world because she's trapped in the robot. But if I can make the data storm happen, then the robot will be able to live forever and she'll have this perfect world. And I kind of lost the plot on what exactly the threat was, so much as people can die, but she's also doing it in like a very remote section of space. And that, as well as another thing that really takes me out of the show sometimes, where like all throughout this show we're flinging around Earthian and Spatian like they're real slurs, and you are like you know, you are getting fucking mud in somebody's face having to get through that. But like, again, my main comparison point is Gundam 0079. There are other shows that I'm needing to get through and getting to watch, but part of what makes Gundam so compelling, and definitely what made like Tomino's work very, you know, influential, is the fact that it's not just Earth versus space. It is very particular factions, and even within like the planet, you know, or even within the star system, not everyone is agreeing. Like, there are people on Earth who fucking hate the Earth Federation because of the fact that they're a big, you know, fascist corporation that is not even corporation, but they're like a military group that is actively taking resources that they could be using on their farm, on their regular land, but, you know, have to make way for this militaristic entity. The Principality of Zeon was not even like the actual thing that it is now, still, you know, having some themes of like evolution of personhood that you could read as a little bit eugenicist, but at the same time, like, none of that really gets into the process until you hit, you know, the Zabi coup. And then you get this much more fascist, like, specifically domineering entity that you're seeing Amuro Ray face for 50 episodes. And by extension, Char is also facing because of the political struggle there. That is how you're layering the stories and making these people so connected. And ultimately leads into the rest of this Universal Century where, you know, you're telling a story about the factions that occur because of the political atmosphere that is being created. And ultimately, that still ties into this story of what it means to really be free from the Earth's gravity. How we need to evolve, not just physically from being on the Earth, but to evolve from these systems that still weigh us down, that make us need to look at war, that make us need to look at, the ability to inflict violence, rather than to be able to go beyond that, where anyone could have that capability. G-Witch kind of just throws a bunch of factions at me, which are also PMCs, but also the weapons manufacturers, and, maybe one of them can do work towards disability and help to create utility for disabled folks. But then also, it kind of happens that that's also the one that had the death machines, and now we need to execute the death machines, and then Earth is in trouble, and now the Earth has its terrorists coming up to space, but also we hate that fucking bitch from Mercury, because fuck Mercury. I don't know what Mercury did. I never know what happened in Mercury. All I know is that these two came up from there, because they also got fucking destroyed in another space freight, and the guy that fucking killed her husband is alive, and no one really says much of it. She doesn't even try and get a pot shot at him.
I think
we also end it where it's like, well, that money that I gave away after disassembling our groups and essentially giving that money back to Earth, it's gonna eventually come back to space. But hey, Shogunai, I'm at least here with my girlfriend. She trims her nails because she fucks me up, and that's
I did like that. I will say that. I did appreciate that.
So you're saying, unfortunately, the plot of it unfortunately it's very superficial, right? It feels very underdeveloped and it's rushed ending. Yeah.
Unintentionally
Go off,
feels
King.
superficial. I want to be happy. I want to be happy for these lesbians, but it's really hard to feel like the lesbians are now neo-lib. I have to say, it feels like lesbians are neo-lib.
I My two things that I think about this show is I think it would be a lot stronger if they focused purely on the Prospera angle. I think they should have cut the entire Sadiq bit out, straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up. I think that would have given time for the Earth stuff to breathe a little bit more.
I also don't like the optic, if we're talking, because I saw that thread about disability and, the idea that Gundam says that a queer woman of color can be able to find happiness, and that's totally chill. That's totally fine. And I see the points where I don't need the ending to be that Prospera dies and that Eri is lost in the ether. I'm glad that, there's a way to keep happiness in that unit. Dog, we still have a brown guy, imprisoned for future life.
I know.
Because he decided to take all of the crime in, and it's
it's just why? To what end? That's all I was thinking. I haven't finished it myself, but
because he wants to redeem himself or whatever, but also it's I don't even know fully what you did.
Yeah.
I don't really know what you did in this story, dog.
He was brown. We have to sacrifice someone. Who else?
I am. My other
I don't want to say that. I'm trying my best not to say that, but at the same time, it's just
yeah.
Also, the part where Guel and Lauda come in, oh my god, I legitimately hated that little. So there's a point where Lauda, Guel's brother, is going Joker mode. Gets into the Gundam and is gonna kill the Earth group, the Gundam Corporation mission to stop Storm Zero or whatever, and he's going nuts on it, and then accidentally tears through his brother's mobile suit, and flashback of when they were kids and Lauda got adopted. Guel was immediately happy to have a little brother. Oh no, how could I do this to my family? Even though you already did this to our father. God, the cycle of violence. It's okay, bro, just let me go. Let me go away. I'm gonna blow up in my robot now. And then one of his girlfriends comes in to spray the anti-blow-up juice, and she's like, this is stupid, don't do this. And I'm just then why'd you show me this? Why did we do this? We spent 10 minutes on this, and you don't even give me the payoff of Lauda learning a lesson. Or of Lauda having to carry this weight. Then why did we do this?
I think that you say that they might only make a movie, but I don't think so, since this was the best-selling Gundam of all time.
that is...
I just think this is them setting up a universe, and there is potential for them to do stuff similar to UC. Of we'll get into these factions later. I think there is the promise of that, at least, potentially.
I am not faithful. I mean, now we got to see.
I'm not faithful in the quality, is what I'll say, but
we got to see how the Seed movie does now, because that might help to push the fucking money for the Mercury movie.
But like this anime did very well. Like it was, like I said, the most successful Gundam in like years and years and years.
Right, and we still had to get like 2 to 4 week production date. Like it's just, there's a lot of muck.
Yeah,
there's a lot of gunk, and that. I'm not going to say any current anime is free of that, but at the same time, there's just so much that's left on the cutting room floor. And a lot of it that, for me, if I'm not immediately feeling like impacted by the relationship of our main protagonists, like if I just know already, yeah, this is going to work out, this is going to be fine. Like, you haven't shown me anything that is compelling me to not think that, on the contrary. And 2, if the main things I see in a Gundam are the political intrigue, the character work, the ensemble of characters that you can find yourself gravitating towards, and the narrative on just what is like available there are some hits, but then there's also just a lot of misses by the end. And yeah, like, I don't want to say that this is a bad show. It's definitely not. But if you liked Gundam Witch from Mercury and you were curious about the franchise as a whole, there is so much more for you there. There is so much more that can at least explore different mechanics, what is available, what's around. Also, this isn't the only show with lesbians in it. Watch How to Be a Relationship. Read Run Away With Me, Girl. Read both of those. Watch fucking, I don't know,
Hidamari Sketch.
Watch Hidamari Sketch. Watch Licorice.
Oh no, yeah, we forgot. We completely glossed over the 2 girls who really are in love in that show.
What? Just say and
yeah.
Oh my god, why can't I think
Hori.
of Hori? Yeah. Thank you. I always want to say Hiromi for some reason.
Yeah. They're in denial. They're in denial on season.
There was that whole episode where, like, I really liked when Yuno and Miyoko go outside, and Yuno goes, "Do you think we'll ever be like them when we're older?" And Miyoko just goes, "Huh?"
It's budding.
Right, and yeah, I just. This is still fine if you want to experience it. Go and enjoy it. There is so much good stuff waiting for you on the other side.
Yeah. I think if there's... I definitely... I wasn't, flabbergasted by it or anything. The only thing I can be grateful for is that need more mainstream things to just have gay marriage in it. For the love of God, please.
Yes, and also shut the fuck up if you you need a kiss to codify that it's
yeah, fuck that. Yeah, that was my problem with a lot of the discussion around this. Is I don't know. There's this big problem with anime in general, specifically anime, where you get into the infantilization of a country that you aren't aware of. So you go, there's no possible way that they know what they're doing, If they were going to kiss, it's going to be very male-gazy, and it's going to lead to doujin that I know is already out there, and I know is already going to be selling off the shelves, because that's what people know will be able to sell. But it's not going to be the same thing as people that are, genuinely taking away the queer's, not even subtext, just the queer text of this narrative, and are, feeling so, gracious for a show that already has at least enough in it to promote this sense of community, the sense of leftism, the sense of just, existing outside of the dominant identity for some. But, just I don't know. Someone's gonna be mad, I assume, but don't shoot me. I think the lesbians in Birdie Wing are also good. Oh yeah, I agree. I think this is the Sunrise arc of making up for Tomino's crimes for a long time, and hopefully it just means hey now, turn A. Yeah, but
There's still more. There's still more. But
you know what? How about the more recent crimes of iron-blooded orphans lesbians?
Or just the general crimes of Fukuda, but even then, again, they're letting Bro make a third Seed movie.
Why?
He looks so bad. Kiri Yamato looks so bad, and it's 2023. I'm gonna have a bad time when I eventually get to Seed.
Yeah, you are. No one has a good time.
Look, I did get, like, because someone else on another server I'm in did the pilgrimage, and is now done of, like, this burden. But they also made a supercut of every time fucking Nickel from Seed dies and explodes, or explodes in a flashback.
I think whenever I finally get around to watching more Gundam, I think I'm just going to watch G Gundam and have a good time because I'm built for that shit.
I try to. The weirdest thing is that it's so slow. It's slower than I realized.
I can handle slowness as long as I have seen scenes. I have seen sequences that will make it all worth it for me.
No, that's totally understandable. I love what G Gundam stands for. I love Chibdi Crockett and his 4 mommies. I just realized, oh no, there is more out there for me.
Yeah.
There is more that I realize I appreciate a lot more than I thought.
And what can we ask for more than that? Maybe a better show. I don't know. But
Something that isn't going to feel rushed and needs to be constrained by, like, a very strict episode order.
I found out why I was so convinced there were multiple cores, and the reason is because they said when they were starting that they didn't know how many it was going to be.
Yeah.
And that they were saying in the ballpark of 3 or 4, and then it was like, nah, you get 2, I guess.
If this had 3, I would have less problems, I think.
I think if it had 3 and they removed Shadiq stuff, I think
they would have the space to actually work around the Shadiq stuff, I feel.
Yeah, that's true.
At the least.
Well, we'll see someday. Maybe they do the dang, I don't know. That won't fix anything. I was going to basically do the thing that I get mad of in games when people say they'll Final Fantasy 14 it with, like, a movie or something, you know, like, but nah, probably not. Do a compilation movie at some point. John.
Hi.
I know you wrote down here you wanted to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh manga, but we didn't talk about it last time. Wait, did we?
We talked about Pokemon, if that's what you're going to talk about. Yes.
Okay. We did do that. Okay.
I haven't watched any more, though, so...
Okay, I haven't either. I had forgotten that we actually talked about it because I was trying to remember how we did it. Yeah, okay, so yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! The other 90s series. How's it going over there?
Yeah, so, I've been kind of jumping all over the place. It's been kind of crazy, so, haven't watched as much as I would like. Haven't read as much as I would like, even. But, I did finish the Battle City arc of Yu-Gi-Oh!, which was good. I did like how it, obviously I know how it went, but the battles were really good, really exciting. I still, love how it ends. So I started to read, because it was... It was some... Oh my god, I'm blanking. It was set right after Battle City, but it's like a spin-off manga that's done by one of Kazuki Takahashi's proteges called Yu-Gi-Oh! R. Which I don't know if it's canon. I don't. But what I do know is that the guy who did this Akira Ito guy went on to create Cardfight Vanguard, which is very funny to me. That
makes sense.
Yeah. I will say Yu-Gi-Oh! R isn't really anything too super special. It's just hey, we got fucking duels. Taya got kidnapped, and Yugi's got to go climb Kaiba Corp Tower to fight this guy who's trying to take over Kaiba Corp. And I think they did it more interestingly in the anime. Like, I haven't really watched all of it, but I remember there was a whole, like, bit where Kaiba's, like, trying to fight off Kaiba Corp getting taken over by someone. And it was just, like, a better tournament arc instead of just, like, oh, hey, we're just fighting a bunch of randos and going up a tower. Like that I think felt like it had more stakes because it involved everyone a little bit better. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to like go and watch like the Yu-Gi-Oh filler arcs just to like enjoy them too. Because I know like Kazuki Takahashi is actually like on record saying that he really liked the Virtual World arc, which they had to do because, you know, they had to like give him time to finish Battle City while they were animating it. And he just, like, straight up was like, yeah, no, I really like what they did. Like, yeah, that's, you know, I don't know if he said it was canon or anything, but basically just like, yeah, no, it's good. So I should probably just check that out and probably, like, any of the other, like, side arcs and all that. Because, after R, there is just the Millennium World arc, which is, this pretty much the wrap-up. It's like, Yugi and the Pharaoh learning about his past and wrapping everything up, and then Atem going back to the afterlife and all that. So I'm like maybe like 100 chapters away from being done with the Yu-Gi-Oh manga in general. But I'll probably check out those anime arcs, and then there's also the Dark Side of Dimensions movie, which I still think is really funny because that is like that is a canon sequel to the manga. Like, it's not just like, oh, hey, we continue off the anime. Like, it is very specifically like, yeah, no, this is the epilogue of the manga that Kazuki Takahashi wanted to make. So very interesting that exists in that way. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try to wrap up Yu-Gi-Oh in all those regards. But the other Yu-Gi-Oh thing, so I think I mentioned previously that I read the Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG Structures manga. I don't remember if I talked about that on here.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I haven't read that one recently, but now that I've mentioned it, I guess I'll just go over what it is, because they've seemingly have not updated it since April, which is a little frustrating. But that one is that one is a manga where it is just about a group of kids playing straight up Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, not just like, oh, Duel Monsters, or oh, this specific era. Like, they are playing current Yu-Gi-Oh! The stuff that people play in real life, and they are playing it realistically. So it is just about, like, showing off how real decks work, how they bounce off of each other, and they do very specifically, like, cut out all the board building aspects, because that would take so fucking long if they had to show them being like, okay, so I do this, and then I sacrifice this, and then I contribute this when I play this, and then, like, you know, 'cause it takes so long to do all that shit. But I think they do a really good job of, like, making actual Yu-Gi-Oh! Really exciting, because, hey, guess what? It is a lot of the time, when the decks are, like, at a similar power level. This doesn't happen a lot, but I don't know. I hope that someone starts translating this again, because I do really like it. But the one that I'm all caught up on is Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG Stories, which that is the one where they are adapting lore behind some of the cards. Like, you know, like in Magic, they tell the stories through, like, the flavor text, or, like, the short stories they release on the website, and the art, they do that whole thing where it's like, yeah, here's, like, what's happening on Ravnica right now, here's what's going on in Ipsilon, whatever the fuck. For Yu-Gi-Oh! They do some of that stuff, but it has always been just told through the cards, which can be a little frustrating, because, like, you know, the art can be cool, but also the art is very tiny because it is on just the card, so sometimes you really gotta look really close to try to figure out what the fuck is going on. And a lot of cards don't have flavor text. Like, only normal monsters have flavor text, and if you want a deck to be good, you shouldn't have normal monsters in it. Normal monsters are just completely useless except for very, very specific instances. so they don't get to work a flavor text. So now they have seemingly just been like, hey, we're just going to make manga about different archetypes lores.
Yeah.
And the first one they did was the Sky Strikers, which they are like the most popular archetype in general, probably. Like, they're still relatively decent in competitive play. For a while, they were one of the best decks. Like, when I first started playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, it was in, people call it TOSS format, which stands for Thunder Dragon, Orchist, Sky Striker, Salamangreat, because those are the 4 best decks. I played Salamangreat. But yeah, like, you know, it was just that's a format that people look back fondly on because it was pretty balanced, all things considered. Like, if you played one of those 4 decks, it could go either way. And so it's not like something where, oh, someone's just gonna kick your ass every time, you know. Like,
Yeah.
there was some good back and forth in that period. But people still just like Sky Strikers because it's a cute girl. That's pretty much it. And she's in a bunch of mecha outfits, and she does a bunch of cool moves. And so they made a whole manga just telling the story of Rei, the Sky Striker. And it's pretty decent. Like, I wouldn't say it's anything revelatory, but it's a fun story. Her whole thing is that she's like the only human left alive after a war wiped everybody else out because humanity basically created a bunch of robots to start fighting the wars for them, and then the robots got so good at fighting war that they just wiped out all the humans, that kind of thing. So, you know, it just bounces off of that, where Rei is like growing up with these kindly robots that are teaching her, you know, how to be a human as best as they can. And it just sort of builds off of that. It's very Mega Man, I guess I would say. Like, it reminds me a lot of Mega Man. Even though Mega Man's a robot and she is not. And it just goes from there. I don't really want to spoil too much about it because honestly, it's like there's like 15 chapters out right now. I would just say if you're at all interested in reading a story about basically girl Mega Man, and also, I don't know, there's some tinges of Yuri in there. I'm not gonna say it's full of it, but it's there. I keep trying to get you to read it, Rose. Every once in a while, I'll just be like, "Hey, guess what? They got some chapters up for you," because I do think you would like it. And hell, one of the characters in it is named Rose. It's spelt with a Z.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
You showed me. I think is that a real card? I think.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is, honestly, that they started to. So originally, the original archetype of Sky Strikers, it was just Rei. And she had all these, like, mecha suits that she would get into, and all the spells were, like, all the maneuvers that she would do, and that's how the deck worked. But once they made a card for Rose, and everyone was like, huh, that's weird. And then, like, a couple months later, they announced that they were doing this manga. And since then, they started to make cards for the other characters, like all of like Rei's like mentors, like all those other robot characters. They all have cards now, and there's like other Sky Striker girls that start to show up. They have cards now too, and so it's just like this Ouroboros thing where it was like, oh, this manga was created because of the cards, and now cards are being created because of the manga, which I think is cool. You know, like that's a neat way to expand on it. Because yeah, it wasn't really like, there wasn't really lore there yet. It was just, here's Rei, she's the Sky Striker, and now we know what she's doing, and why she's doing it. But so I'm hoping that after this, because I think they're actually wrapping it up soon. It feels like it's getting close to the end. I hope that they do another series that has lore in the cards, but could just be told a bit better. Like, the two that are probably the most famous is the World Legacy, which is just it's basically just an RPG story, like pretty basic. Like, here's these like 4 characters going on a journey to collect a bunch of items to try to save the world. And there's twists and turns along the way. And then there's the branded story, about a boy named the Fallen of Albaz who can fuse with different other characters and turn into dragons, and Ecclesia, who is basically like a warrior nun who defects from her church because she finds out they're evil, and shit just goes on from there. Again, like I just want to see these things in like better detail, and I mean, I personally I think a branded anime would be really good. Like, people keep saying that they want a World Legacy anime. I don't think World Legacy needs an anime. A manga would probably be fine. Branded would be really cool, just because there's a lot of like really cool looking characters. Really, just there's a lot of action. There's a lot of bombast in the card artwork, in the ways that the cards interact. Even like Branded does a really good job of like having the cards' effects match the story and those characters, how their personalities and how they act. Like I really love how it's just like, yeah, like this card is like this is one of the better cards because these two characters get along really well, and then they fuse, and then that's them. Or here's this character
narrative.
Yeah, or here's this character at the beginning of her journey. She's very weak. As it goes, she gets like, as they make new cards that have the same character, and she's stronger, or she has different effects based on what she's learned through the adventure. That's really cool. But I would still just love to see it in a manga form, just in its entirety, just in a way that is a lot easier to digest. Because the only way that they really officially release these plots is every like 5 years they'll just put out a book that just has like a synopsis of everything, and they'll do that for like even single cards too. They'll just be like, oh yeah, here's like the underworld goddess of darkness or whatever the fuck her name is, and it's just like, oh yeah, this is her backstory, isn't she cool? And it's just like, sure. I kind of like they really could just like, they could just have flavor text. Like, they would probably save them a ton of money if they just had flavor text on their cards. It's weird. I don't know. I do like it. You know, again, I think it's pretty basic. It's not gonna knock your socks off, but it's a quick read, and I just like Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. I like seeing the card designs. I like whenever she does one of her maneuvers and it's one of the cards from the deck, I do the Leonardo DiCaprio pointing gif. I dig it. I would really love to see what they do next. I mean, hell, maybe I would rather them just pick something else and just elaborate on it, because yeah, like, we didn't know anything about Sky Striker, and now we do. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do next, but it feels like they're going to, because it is called OCG Stories. They did not just say this is the Sky Striker manga. This is like a series.
Like an anthology type thing, yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like it was popular. Like, they haven't released it over here yet. I don't know. They probably won't, because it is kind of niche. Like, I doubt they're going to be like, oh, hey, everybody, go to your fucking Barnes & Noble and pick up the Yu-Gi-Oh! Backstory for the cards manga. Like, no, that shit's not going to sell.
I just
Yes.
like that conceptually a lot. I really love the idea of it. Like, that's sort of why I appreciated them finally doing a new Pokemon anime, because it sort of felt like getting into, you know, an opportunity to the last season of Ash too, even just getting into an idea of like, we don't have to have this specific format. We can just sort of fuck around. I think I want all that from everything, basically. Like, I love that sort of thing. Like that's my favorite thing about Fate, right? Like, it's just every Fate thing is just completely different and random, and like just shares ideas more than anything. And even then, not even, right? Like, some of them are just so out there. Yeah, no, I'm glad to hear you've enjoyed that, because it sounds really cool.
Yeah, I think you would really enjoy it.
I'll add it to the manga read list that someday I'll hit.
Yeah. I know. I have a big list too. I've been chipping away Yu-Gi-Oh, which is why I'm kind of so focused on that, just because like it is pretty long, you know, like it went on for a long time, but after that, I think I'm gonna try to pick like one or two things that are shorter and read through them before I go on to something else big, because like I was thinking, like I was like, I'm probably gonna read Berserk next, but it's like I think I'll do that after I read another like one or two small things, because I wanna mix things up, as it were.
It's tough to pick these long range. Believe me, as the JRPG series player, you end up picking one and it never. Yeah, you too. You know that it never ends. It never fucking ends.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Really doesn't. But that's all I have. All right. Yeah, that's it from me.
No, thanks for sharing. I'm glad to hear that something like that exists. I think it's really neat.
Yeah.
Elvie, not so sure about this one, but still curious nonetheless, since you talked about it before, I believe. Sacrificial Princess, as it yeah. How'd that go for you?
Well, it's actually not done.
Oh, really? Okay, I guess
no, it is
some episodes.
I was surprised too. It's actually on its second course. It's approaching its second course. Somehow timely with the summer season, but no, it's actually still technically ongoing, so it's not technically a separate second season, but it should be. I'm gonna finish it, but it is what it is. It is, you know, as I mentioned before, this is just a Beauty and the Beast story. What else is there to say about it? It literally hits everything one would expect if you have seen any other or consumed any other piece of shoujo romance before of this similar ilk. Yes, she softens this beast's heart. Yes, people start to like her. Yes, they throw in an extra third romantic interest, and then he just gets NTR'd, and it's okay, I guess. It's like, damn, dude, that's rough.
Why does that happen so much? Why do they it's always like they're like, you get scared they're putting too many cooks in the kitchen, and then it's like, okay, you're just doing a weird side story now. Like, did they just not sign off on your one shot or something? Like, this is so weird.
So it's still ongoing. So I know exactly how it ends too, because the spin-off of it already has been going on, which is not a spin-off. It's really a sequel. They call it a spin-off because it's not focusing on the main characters, but it's really a sequel. I think what's weird to me about the series, you know, speaking of the third romantic interest they throw, it feels very short. Apparently this has 15 manga volumes, but I feel like this anime is gonna finish that somehow, which is kind of crazy to me. Again, speaking of another Beauty and the Beast anime series that happened, which was, again, I've talked about this the last season, The Tale of Outcast, which was, again, far more mediocre in comparison. And that had even a shorter manga volume length. It's under 10 volumes too, and yet they were trying to jam pack so much into it that I feel was this is not this is not reading to me at all. Again, it was trying to become Fate at the end. I'm what's going on here? Why is there suddenly a war between demons and humans? This one is as much as I'm it sounds like I'm complaining about oh wow, yeah, it's just a whatever cliched Beauty and the Beast. No, I actually think it's fine and good because it's not trying to overstep those boundaries. It's we know what we are, whatever, and it's it gives you the fluffy feel. It's oh no, they did the thing again. Yeah, as John pointed out, the Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the monitor from American Hollywood Story. It's just oh, they did it, but it's not a grievance compared to when an annoying fan service shot happens. It's more yes, finally it has happened, the kiss scene, let's go, you know. So yeah, it's something definitely I would recommend if you just need a romance story. It's oh, okay, sure, why not? It's not touching upon any complex political intrigue. It's not. It very much is fantasy racism. It's whatever. There's an episode where again, the main girl, she she's like, oh, let's go to the town, like she and the beast. And again, like the whole conceit again with him is that he becomes human again at night. But also he's like royalty, so he actually just can't, casually go about like, the regular townsfolk and willy-nilly without security or whatever, like requirements. So they're both in disguise, and they're going to town, and then her disguise falls apart, and like, of course, as expected, everyone's like, hiss, a human, oh god, terrible, they retreat. And she has this brief time where she's like, I'm gonna go back to the human world for a bit. Just why not? She feels rejected by that. She's like, I don't belong here. And lo and behold, no surprises here. At the end, humans are bad too. She's like, no, I don't belong here. And she goes, it's just like, it's, again, everything you expect with a story like this, but it's okay because it's embracing that, and it's not trying to do anything else beyond that. It knows, I think, what its identity is, and that's fine to me. So I appreciate that. And again, it kind of goes back to the fact that, like, I keep complaining about this. There hasn't been like very solid shoujo that I think, like, or at least romance, I think, especially that I think would be teen friendly, particularly that has been really sticking around, or at least noteworthy has come out like in the last couple of years, I think. Because we are in isekai hell, right? And I think sadly that genre too, on the other end of things, is saturated with the villainous stuff, the villainous isekai, right?
Oh my god.
So, especially villainous lesbian isekai, which I know it's also a different thing, but yeah, I appreciate stuff like this. That's just, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, no, totally.
No, the NTR thing is insane, because again, he shows up, and it's like 2 episodes, and he's like, I love you, and then he walks away. It's like, that's it? We're not gonna have... He's not gonna challenge.
It happens so much, I feel like, in shoujo. It's like crazy. It's just like, why did they exist? And then they get a ton of fan art, and you're like, what?
Right, right, again, like, he's a human, too, like her, and like, oh, they were childhood friends, and he's like, I'm gonna rescue her from this awful beast guy. He's absolutely valid. He's absolutely justified. He's the one who makes the most sense. Like, he's like, of course, this is like fucking weird and suspicious. Like, why, what? She's alive? I'm gonna get... And then he just gets over it in 1 episode. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. That is crazy. And he never shows up again. He's not important again. Well, he might show up again in the second core, but he's going to be whipped. I notice. He's not going to be useful at all. He's just going to be a weird side character. The episode ends with him where, oh yeah, she gets, again, love it. She's a Mary Sue, basically. Like, again, nothing unexpected here. She's a Mary Sue. That's great. Fine. Let's go. She adopts a little phoenix bird. She gets a cool giant bird. She's riding the bird to bring him back. Again, her, like, one-sided childhood, like, she and him are riding the bird to bring him back to the human world. And, like, of course, he's going to become a gag character. They're like, oh, he's afraid of heights. Ha. So funny. He's not going to be useful anymore at this point. But yeah, you're right. It's so fun. It's just so often. And then it's like, what? Yeah, again, like, too many cooks, like, too much of a harem situation, and none of them are useful. We know who the main love interest is going to be at the end. There's no surprise. And then stuff like this, where it's like, why did they bother throwing in this love triangle that had no chance anyway?
Yeah, it's just so odd how often it happens. Mm-hmm. Conversely, if you want to talk about things a little more outside the mold, I know, because I've been watching it too. Mashle is out there.
Yeah, I was very surprised by how much I liked the show.
Me too.
But also how, because of that, I was a little disappointed by, like, some of the stuff towards the end.
Yeah.
Mashle, and when you look at it, you're like, muscle? Like muscle? Which is true. That's how I thought it was pronounced at first. I was like, is it muscle? Because it's muscle? Mm-hmm. But no, the main character's name is Mash. He's the very simple premise of the show is that he is a person born in a world where everyone has magic. He doesn't. However, he is unusually strong for a human being. Like, cartoonishly strong for a human being. And he's, like, found in the woods, adopted by this old guy who's, like, kind of burnt out, etc. And, and it's very sincere and, like, heartwarming that he, like, wants to protect him and trying to keep it a secret. So the two of them try to negotiate, and he kind of reluctantly accepts, like, okay, I'm going to enroll in a magic school, so to protect you, because, I don't know, like, magic cops came to their house one day, and they're like, we found out someone here might have no magic. That's fucked up. So he's now enrolled in this magic academy to kind of properly learn magic. And the whole series is about subverting that and how he's literally just brawling his way up, trying to get by while people don't know, and constantly trying to find these loopholes to work his way up through the school and whatnot. And yeah, I really like it because it pretty much is like, again, the whole cliche and trope of like a villain doing a whole long exposition piece, and people are like, why doesn't the hero interrupt them? Like, they could easily take advantage of them while they're doing a stupid long exposition piece before the final battle. Like, why aren't they using this moment to potentially, like, get a head start and ambush them? And that's basically most of the gags of the series. It's this main character who's, like, dealing with authority figures, and they're in the authority figures, like, telling him off or scolding him, like, oh, you can't do this. Or, putting him down, or, like, bully. Again, the series is basically about bullying, too, if you want to even go for it. And in the middle of them, like, trying to talk this out and trying to be diplomatic, he just beats the shit out of them. And it's very funny. Like, it's just very consistently funny that he's like, no, I'm not going to wait and listen to this. I'm just going to beat you up because you're a bully and you have no right to use your authority position to like bully students or other people and stuff like that. And it's just very good every time. It's still funny every single time. When I said the word disappointment, I think it was just like, it felt rushed. Like, again, I don't know how long this series will go. But like, at least in terms of the anime.
I think it's,
like,
like
the
manga's
the middle
ending
half
now.
quickly just jumps to a tournament arc. And I'm like, I don't feel like I got enough characterization or a whole of the characters. I was expecting it to be more of like, here's every day-to-day stuff going on in the school with Mash, like, again, continuing his whole bit. I was hoping it would have been more formulaic. But yeah, like, middle of the series, it just dumps you into a tournament arc, and now all of a sudden you have to kind of care about these side characters I kind of still don't care about.
Yeah.
Right now? Yeah. So I don't know what your own thoughts are about that.
No, I definitely agree that I think, like, especially that first episode of that arc that started was, like, the weakest one immediately to me, of, like, just nothing. What, they just opened that door in the floor?
Yeah.
Like, that's, like, the whole episode. It was, like, insane. But I, for the most part, like, I think where that series succeeds is when he combines his, like, lack of comprehension of the world with his empathy for others. Like, I really like the my favorite moment of that show is when he buries the vice principal in the ground for no reason.
He just keeps going.
Where it's just like he beats up this bully, and then the bully's like, the vice principal shows up and is like, like, don't you know who this kid is? A rich kid, don't you understand? He has friends in high places like me. And then he just starts digging a hole and just puts him in it.
Yeah,
like,
he just shuts it down. It's so funny.
Yeah, and that stuff's great. And there's a lot of that stuff with even just the earlier fights that he does with other people and stuff like that. I do think, like, I understand the desire to flesh out your entourage, as it were, but I feel like they made the mistake of, like, separating them too quickly rather than having them serve as supplements to him.
I don't think we even had enough time with MASH just yet either. Like, I think there should, so they have the entrance exams to get into school, and then part of it was like getting out of this labyrinth, and then that's when he meets with one of the the main character, other secondary characters. Like, I was again like hoping more trials and tribulations and other things like that, where like how does he cleverly get out of this next time without magic and stuff. And I think that would have been really cool to see, again, like just fleshing out more of the school life, similar again to Iruma. If I were to bring it back again, like, again, a similar show with an academy and like, it took 2 seasons for Iruma to actually get to its own, like, destined tournament.
Yeah.
But we had so much time between first season, which felt very Iruma-focused, and second season, which started leaning in towards developing some of the secondary characters. And then we finally get this third season where it's like, oh, okay, now we kind of, like, know and are familiar with who more of these people are besides Iruma. And season 3 too felt less Iruma focused, and I think that was cool. But there was like a very well planned out like build up to that.
Yeah, definitely.
Iruma was never, and again, Iruma from the conceit was never like a typical action shonen show. So like the tournament arc too was kind of an outlier, but because of that, it would benefit from the fact that we had more slice of life developmental, character development opportunities to actually properly know what is a normal day at this school versus what is an abnormal day in this school. And Mashle's anime just felt very rushed. So again, I don't know how like this stuff builds up in the manga, but it just felt very weird to me and jarring. That's like, oh, okay, I guess I now have to kind of care about this organization that suddenly is a problem. Like what?
The manga is also kind of quick, but again, it's like, it's towing this line of gag shonen action where it really is just saying like, oh right, Harry Potter had like the mean team. All right, we got we got them, and then Mash is gonna use. I do like the fact that he starts leaning on just calling it muscle magic, and everyone's just like, bro, you're just flexing. Bro, you're literally just running really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I still need to catch up with the show itself, but that, along with getting to the manga, Mashle actually feels like something that is wanting to be like, stepping that step forward in what shonen can be.
Oh, yeah.
And, I don't know, it's still, the concept is still so funny.
I don't know, again, if, like, the creator has done other things before, or if it's, like, a nominal for... Yeah.
I'll tell you, this is the thing that was really funny to me when I was looking it up, okay? This person has only ever made manga with guys who have bowl cuts.
Okay.
That's, like, their bit for some reason. The other ones are more normal than this.
Okay. But yeah, like, as Maverick was leading on to, like, there, again, too, like, when I first saw this series, too, like, a lot of the character designs, and not, like, from the get-go, like, the moment you get to the academy, which is, like, 2 episodes in, it's like, yeah, okay, a lot of this is riffing from Harry Potter specifically, like, very much so. They're fucking broom Quidditch, like, that is just Quidditch. That's not even a variation. That is just it. The headmaster is just Dumbledore. That is just the same man. That is the same old man. It's not even like a Merlin variant or whatever other old man wizard you can. That is just Dumbledore. So I was just curious too of like the person, like this creator, like made other things because it just feels like something about this series, not amateur, but something about it is like a first work for someone because it has like these weird, way too similar visual references. I think drawing from that, like, I think sadly could be pushed further to like not be, to make it more dissimilar to those, but it's just too apparent too, but not in a way that I think is bothersome. But too, again, like the bowl cut thing is very funny because again, that looks like tons of other anime characters. And like, another thing for me too is that like even the entourage of like his friends too look like character designs from other series.
Yeah.
It's like the girl with, it's just very funny. It's like, why? So I don't know, I was just, I don't want to assume, right? But also to me, like, it just feels like a work that is trying to find its own identity in a way. And I think it does in the writing, but the character designs and like the visual inspiration is just very like apparent if you look at it too much, right?
Yeah, for sure. That manga's ending soon, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel like it is. I gotta catch up.
I think I was hearing someone say like they're basically on the final boss, as it were. Cool. So I'm gonna keep it real. I've not been watching much anime recently. Like I said, I have like 3 episodes of G-Witch left. I have Birdie Wing, most of Birdie Wing this season to watch. But I did watch a couple things. One is some of my girlfriends have been watching The Disastrous Life of Psyche K, if you've ever heard of that.
I have.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
I actually, it reminds, it's classic gag manga where it's like, this kid's a psychic and he just is trying to live a normal life, whatever. But it just has a quickness to it that I think makes it really easy to watch compared to a lot of things, even subbed. Like, it just moves so cleanly from like basically they'll do like 3 arcs per episode or so, like 3 like bits, as it were, and they won't necessarily be cohesive. Sometimes they will be, like the gimmick is they go to the amusement park or something like that, but a lot of times they're just completely unrelated. And it's just about him and these stupid people fucking around and just, the minutia of his insane superpowers of like just using all of these things to avoid doing anything, basically. And that sounds simple, but it's really fun. And I think the anime production is pretty good. They make a lot of jokes about like Gintama and other things. There was a really good episode where he bought the DS game that is based on the show that like exists and just played it like on the episode. He just played the thing the whole time, and he's like the entire time like, this has nothing to do with a game that exists in the real world that you could buy right now for 3,500 yen or whatever. Just shit like that. There's a lot of good bits like that. Just like, yeah, I was enjoying it. I'm not like, oh, this is the best thing ever, but like compared to like something like, I remember I really used to really like a gag manga called Haven't You Heard of Sakamoto? It's like a better version of that because of just how quick it is. Mm-hmm. And just all the characters are insane. A lot like Mashle in that way. But I think it's more evenly balanced. It also helps the Araragi voice actor voices him, the main character. And that delivery is pretty good. The other thing I watched was the Fate Strange Fake OVA, which came out. That's the Fate series that's made by the Durarara author. It was really good. It was a really good OVA. I think it's like one of the better Fate things that I've seen in recent times. It's sort of like a sequel to El Malloy almost, John. Huh. I wanted to tell you because it opens with Waver, and do you remember Flat at all? The weird little blonde British boy.
Maybe.
That he hung around Waver.
Yeah.
Gray's there for like 5 seconds to serve tea to Waver. But the whole gimmick is Flat finds out there's a Holy Grail war happening in America. Mm-hmm. And he goes, oh, awesome. I'm going to go there. And Waver's like, you suck so bad. Please don't. And then he does anyway. And Waver finds out that he stole his toy knife that he won from a video game contest to use as a summoning a servant in America. It works. And Flat summons Jack the Ripper, but not that Jack the Ripper. It's a different one. And it's like a dude or whatever. And the whole gimmick is that they can turn into literally anyone because no one knows who Jack the Ripper was.
Okay.
And that's fun. But it also just bounces around between all the different masters and like their motivations, and similar to Durarara, right? Like in Bakano, here's all these fucking guys. And I think because it's the Bakano guy writing all of this, like it's done way better than most Fate stuff. Like especially more than like Apocrypha or any other things. Like it's going back to like the traditional Holy Grail thing, but it's like, you know, you got character motivations. Like Gilgamesh is here, but he doesn't suck because you know who else is here? Enkidu is here. Like we can get into all this bullshit. Those two are going to be freaks at each other and never stop flirting, and it's going to be really awkward. You know, like Enkidu's master is a wolf, just a dog that like can't talk, and Enkidu just walks around carrying them. There's a like sick child who just has Pestilence, the Pale Rider from the Bible, you know, like 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and it's just this fucked up shadow that's near them.
All right, I'll watch this when we're done.
The thing I just think it has a lot of. It's really well done, I think. Like, it's throwing a lot of guys out there. They have fucking Alexander Dumas, the author of The Count of Monte Cristo, who is just, like, on a computer, like, reading forums and then calling his master, who's the head of the police in this, like, Nevada town. That's just like, hey, dude, can you... I just heard about this really hot woman online. Please, I need to meet her. It's just really good. I was really happy because I think, you know, a lot of Fate anime is not great. Like I have a lot of issues with Fate Zero specifically because of Urobuchi's design, but also like Apocrypha's a nightmare, like a complete mess. And even the original, you know, is based on the prospect of being a visual novel more than a show. This being based on a manga helps a lot. Mm-hmm. And I'm really excited to see, especially the main character, who is, I have heard basically is just annoyed to be there, kind of. Mm-hmm. Like, she just is, like, accidentally summoned Saber and then is, like, really annoyed that he's around and he's fucking, he's King Richard, I think. And he's just sort of annoying. to her all the time. Yeah, it was really fun. I'm looking forward to a lot of stuff I've read about it because like Ishtar's in this, just Ishtar, but also Rin is in it separately. And apparently it has a lot of references to like Fake O and stuff like that, but like not like, you have to know this, just like, hey, we're taking the fun stuff out of Fake O and putting it into a normal thing.
Right.
Yeah, I was really happy to that it was good, and I'm happy that they announced a full anime for it. And that they got fucking Sawano for the soundtrack. Because they have a little bit of that in here, and it's just like, yeah, it's great to hear a Kill la Kill song when Enkidu's doing his Noble Phantasm, like, let's fucking go. Yeah, it was really fun. It was, I recommend you check it out, John, because I think it's pretty easily enjoyable and not really as impenetrable as the rest of Fate content can tend to be.
No, yeah, it sounds good. No, I'll hop on that probably as soon as we're done.
Yeah, it's over on Crunchyroll. I think they only had the dub the first day, but now they have both. The sub was... I went for the sub because, I'm going to hear Gilgamesh. Yeah. It's got to be in Japanese.
Right.
But yeah, it seems like a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. Just because, especially because I feel like I said, the Durarara Bakuno guy is so good at making a bunch of guys all the time, like I was saying with Dead Mount Deathplay, that it's it works perfectly for Fate. It works fucking perfectly. It's always an ensemble show, right? With all these different people. So I have high hopes.
They got the exact right person to write a big ensemble show.
Exactly. And I think that's why this one has high hopes for me versus a lot of other Fate stuff that they've made. Because man, I always forget it exists, but that fucking Shaft Fate anime was so bad. It was so bad.
Is it the one with Nero? Because I watched the first 2 episodes of that, and I was like, dog,
indecipherable. Indecipherable in every way. And I'm someone who knows Fate Extra, which it's based on, and it's nothing like it. It's again, this being a manga, a lot easier to translate into this format already.
I thought it was a light novel at first. They might have done
it was a light novel, but they did do a manga after.
Yeah.
It's still not done, which is the annoying part, because I was like, I don't know fucking anything about this, and they were like, oh yeah, we're not going to localize it or do anything with it in Fate Go until it's done, which is dumb.
Weird.
Yeah, but it's cool. Reading the stuff that happens later, Waver just shows up to yell at Flat, and the entire class take ownership of their servant or whatever and stuff like that. So it's just 12 stupid British children ordering people around. And also it being in America also helps a lot. It's just being different. Yeah, really cool. Really cool. Maverick, what else would you like to talk about here?
All right, let me see. Well, let me see what I'm able to talk about. It's getting rowdy up here. Well, the other show that I finished today was Oshi no Ko. And I think it ended fine. Ultimately it ends on a, the series ends up as one of those, hey, let's make sure we have a sequel hook. If we end up getting a season 2, it's probably going to get a season 2. And give you a solid end point where we just affirm where everyone is going. Because at this point, ultimately, we take a detour into, the idol group. Komachi B, I think is the name of it. That Ruby is trying to set up. And so, the Terrace House show wraps. Everything's fine. The actress and Aqua are sort of in this partial half step where in show they got together at the end, and so it's kind of just giving the public image that they're still going on as a group, but then examining, hey, do you actually like her, or do you like the fact that she was able to mimic what encapsulates I so well? And so there's that little bit of relationship starting up, since the idol group is now being consisted of Aqua, this YouTuber that was on the Terrace House show, Mem, who we find out is lying about her age. She is 25, baby. Let's go. I want all art from her because it's fine. It's normal. And then the child actor, the three of them are sort of like this unit, and they realize, like, oh, child actor, you are actually a really good singer, even if no one actually listened to your stuff. Like later in the fact, this like little arc that's developing that's really just based on like, am I washed up? Am I for Kana? She's kind of just like, am I washed up? Do people really care about what I'm doing? I kind of like am off doing my own stuff, but I don't really know what it is that's like happening right now. And so it's sort of just getting to this point where she realizes, hey, I can do this. This is still a way for me to get to my like next step as a performer. And then for the other like a performer, Mem, she's also someone living out that dream of being an idol, where originally she was like, I'm too old to do this. Can I actually do this? And that's where you get those three. Aqua does a white boy dance towards the end. Just the wildest Wodage that you could see this season, and is just going for it. But, I think it's fine. There are, from what I can see, like, the setup for, like, what I assume is next season is going to be, we're doing this stage play. This, like, interactive stage play where Aqua is one of, like, the people that could be, like, one of the characters there where the love interests fall between the, like, lover that he is, like, assigned in the story as played by that, like, girlfriend Akane. So, can we actually build on our relationship here? And then the other part of the love triangle is from the, like, subordinate that his character has, who's being played by Kana, and it turns out Kana and Akane have like very heated history apparently, where as soon as they meet up it's like, oh, I didn't realize that you're too busy being here. I thought you were too busy being a fucking bitch somewhere else. Or like, why are you posting in public? I thought you'd learn your lesson by now. Which is like a fucked up thing to say to somebody that literally like, almost killed themselves because of the level of media scrutiny that they had to face, but also everyone is kind of just over it at this point, which is its own thing to grapple with. But I mean, I feel like I bring it up less for what happens in this show and more for the fact that like right now people are at a critical point with the series in general based on what's happening in the manga.
Yeah. It's, I don't even know how to approach, like, saying what that is, because I don't know if I should spoil it for others, or, like...
I don't necessarily, like, want to go in spoiling it, but here's my thought, at least, like... Aka Akasawa is somebody who I already have very, like, acclaimed respect for when it comes to Kaguya-sama. At no point did I feel like that, like, purposefully ventured into risque topics just for the hell of it. At no point did it ever feel like the perversions that are coming up, or that, like, the like, stuff that I would expect from other anime, from other harem anime, from other rom-com anime, would pop up there. And so, here in this point, like, the context of it is a very important factor of it, I would say, where it's kind of just, like, ultimately the decision and the like following events that come through are going to kind of just cement what that series becomes at the end. And given the way that Aqua has already been written as a character, in the way that he does already like present himself. And I mean, I still have more of the manga to read. I would be surprised if that ends up going the way that people are like dreading. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we can't talk around this. So, quick spoilers for Oshi no Ko in the manga. If you were looking to catch up with the manga after this, let me give 30 seconds to just give the actual dialogue. So, here. In the most recent chapter, as Aqua is figuring out his memories of that past life, already knows who he was, and Ruby also has that knowledge, neither of them knew where exactly, or who exactly, that other person ended up. Their past lives being the doctor and the patient who he promised, because she was dying of cancer, that, if you make it to 16, I'll be your husband. Or, just platitudes that you say, one, partially out of being able to form a connection with a lifelong, with a person that you wouldn't have expected to, but also stuff that you kind of just know, I gotta be hopeful about this, or, play this game along, because this probably is going to be where things end. But I guess he tells Ruby, hey, I'm the doctor, and assumedly you are that patient. And one of the chapters ends where she's like, well, I'm 16 now, and you promised me. And, the manga has been doing a lot of play around with where exactly, and I don't think I've really seen this anywhere else. I'm sure it, ends up elsewhere. I'm sure fucking Mushoku Tensei and all that, if people that are gonna jump at the bit to mention that do this, but a genuine contemplation. And you also see it in the season a bit where it's I remember this past life that I had, but how much of that is me now, and is that really playing into who I am as Aqua Hoshino, as this son of a esteemed idol who is now having ulterior motives aside from that past life, but how much of that is still me? It's an interesting conversation to be had when it comes to the way that a lot of these isekai anime or reincarnation anime work, where it kind of just leaves it as, well, that was me then, but this is me now. This genuinely feels like a crisis of identity a lot of the time that it gets presented, and so I don't know if it'll just go full Oremo, but at the same time, I don't know.
I trust that author to a degree, but I think a lot of this series has been I'm going to do something insane. So
exactly,
it is a little but my real problem with, I think, why the reason I was just talking with someone about this earlier, the reason I haven't gotten super into Oshi no Ko and watched more of it is I feel like he's approaching writing that main character, Aqua, similar to how he wrote Shirogane a little bit. Mm-hmm. And the problem is that when you have a character like Aqua talk about the realities of, the idol industry, all this other stuff, blah, 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 they're doing the critique and bits like that, they would throw offhandedly into Kaguya at times. The problem is Aqua is literally a Nepo baby, basically, to an extent.
Right, yeah.
And it's Shirogane wasn't. He was literally the dude who is trying way too hard.
Yeah.
And it's just that was my problem, I think, with getting into it, was just I have trouble with rich characters at all, ever. But
no, definitely,
especially with that field, it really dampened the critique to me in a difficult way.
I feel at no point is it ever him trying to be damn, this world is again, part of that nepotism aspect. It never feels like he is trying to work against that. Ultimately, he's a very selfish guy. The end goal is, I'm gonna find my dad and kill him, because even in my infinite wisdom as a former 40-year-old, I fucking have a grudge to bear, and I don't blame you. You're in a very weird situation, so that doesn't feel like out of place. But yeah, the like it never feels like an attempt to be like, damn, this industry is so fucked up, I can't believe we're doing this, but more, these are the situations that we are faced with because this is the shit that we want to do. And at no point does it ever feel like a grandiose or like endorsement of what's going on, but at the same time,
Yeah.
the difficulty is where, you know, how much of a critique can you actually provide if you're going to keep such an insular story?
And that was my difficulty, was wrestling between those two aspects of the show. And just like, I just have, it sort of leads into like what I was saying about Hidamari Sketch just a little bit of just like no, obviously nothing goes perfect for them, don't get me wrong or anything like that. But, you know, like a lot of the things that occur in the narrative are like, you know, this is happening to advance the plot or do this thing that, you know, happens. Whereas like, it's like, maybe I would like a little more realism if you're going to get real with it, you know, like, I don't know.
Right.
Or just more mundane. Even though I know that's not the Kaguya. I don't know, that is kind of the Kaguya guy's bit, is making the mundane explosive. I don't know.
I would say it comes up in other ways, but yeah, that like, you know, with the source material, with the just themes that are like present, you kind of are immediately thrown in. We're saying like these people are like unordinary. These are people that are actively involved with this industry, and so there is a lot of politicking. There is a lot of, you know, working around with people. If you have enough interiority to work with that and like figure that out, then hey, you are one step ahead, and that lets you figure things out. But also, yeah, like at no point is it ever, I think that's the part I do appreciate. It's not like, oh, we are like immediately famous streamers or like famous people. It's more like, you know, yes, we do have the connection to this former idol, but also nobody knows that connection to us, because there's going to be a whole other like media, like it would only bring additional stress and issues that like eventually the story's going to get there, but it's more this way. It is more building up this idea of like, okay, well now you have to say like, you know, you kept this. I wouldn't be surprised if that sense of nepotism is going to come up and people are going to point that out, and it'll be like, you know, hey, my mom died at a young age. I never actually got the chance to like work with her or learn from her. But at the very least, you know, had a manager that cared for us as a parent and at least had a foot in the door to figure things out. Like, I don't think it's going to go for that sense of what exactly goes on, but also I feel like it is at least aware of the fact that this story could only happen in such a like narrow circle, in such a closely wound circle.
Yeah, for sure. What an odd thing to exist. I feel like in just every respect, like just yeah. I do wonder what will happen. I guess we'll find out pretty soon what will happen.
We'll see. It's really funny that the artist was just like, genius. Yeah. Genius. Because again, if they're being shits and just trolling their audience, then I mean, hey.
Yeah, by all means, go ahead, but Kaguya was really good.
Kaguya was really good.
All right. Elvie, do you want to just talk about Tactop just a little bit?
All I'm going to say
small
is because
sort of amount.
My opinion, a report will come back at some point, a proper full report. All I'm going to say is I don't think this is a good game. The anime came out 2 years ago, and then this is what comes out. Sad. That's it.
Sad.
Just sad. Just sad.
That is sad. That was there was the Mappa series, right? That was like sort of a little bit like the other one that was around the same time.
A little bit like the other one?
Vivi? Wasn't it like
Oh yes, yes.
Vivi-esque almost?
Vivi-esque,
vividly?
yeah. I think there was a particular like sci-fi aesthetic for sure around that year, yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Kind of that, yeah.
But I was going to also say, since we're at the end of the show now, Elvie, if you'd like to, you can also tell us
Yes.
your pick, since you get to pick
It's my
what we're watching.
turn.
Elvie's
So
turn.
my pick for the group watch is a movie this time, and it's going to be Miss Hokusai, which is an anime film adaptation of a historical manga, which is about one of the daughters of the famous ukiyo print artist Hokusai, most famously known for doing the Great Wave print that everyone knows, the full title being The Great Wave of Kanagawa. And it goes into a little bit about her life. It's like a loose biopic. I don't know quite. I'm sure there's still like loose ends here and there in regards to like how accurate it is, but it's focusing on her life. Because what they say in history, right, is like, oh, behind every man there is a woman. But yeah, she is one of his children, and how like she was actually a very instrumental part in his art career, and because she was basically his production assistant. So yeah, Miss Hokusai is a film, directed by Keiichi Hara. And I chose this in particular because one of his other films came out recently, a new film called Lonely Castle in the Mirror.
Oh, yeah,
It has already went around in the film festival circuit, so I don't know in terms of like mass like streaming platforms just yet for North America English release, but yeah, just wanted to highlight. Yeah, I think it's cool, and I definitely am excited to see Lonely Castle in the Mirror at some point, and like excited for more things in this particular director's career, because I love Colorful. He also did Colorful, and I really like Miss Hokusai. And I just thought it was timely because of his new movie. And also, coincidentally, I think as of recording, Miyazaki's last film will be coming out either this week or next week. And I think it's just important to, like, support more anime directors that are not of the same old guys all the time.
or just Shinkai also.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also Shinkai, unfortunately, who's just now in that same...
Basically the
box.
same, oddly enough, yeah.
Yeah.
The acceptable
He boxed himself,
one.
too.
Yeah.
I think he did that to himself, but you know what? I think, yeah. So, yeah. And it should be available on several different places. You can support it to watch Miss Hokusai.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it's available for rental and stuff pretty much everywhere you can imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it came out 2015, so by now it should be more accessible.
It has a dub as well, so...
Yes.
Yeah. That's cool. I'm glad to watch a movie. I'm always glad. I wish I knew more anime movies so that when it was my turn, I could pull one out.
It's just like, ooh.
Sometimes it's just nice to, break it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Then, yeah, I'll do the normal ending bit then. It's patreon.com/gamesline, right? Mm-hmm. You could go there, and $3 gets you this show and other features such as it a whole week early. You could also, as always, send in questions like that one earlier to gamesline.tumblr.com/ask or Twitter or whatever the hell. If you have any show suggestions, feel free to send them in if you're a patron. Literally just let us know and we'll add it to the list. We have the list. We've been working our ways through it. We're down to like 5 now, I think, again. Mm-hmm. Or something like that. So always welcome to have more so that we can like go, does it feel like the right time to watch, I don't know, Hidamari Sketch? Is June the correct month to watch Hidamari Sketch in?
I think it was.
I think it was too. It was a good one. It was a good time, the winding up to summer. Yeah. As always, thank you, all 3 of you, for joining me. And we'll see y'all next time on another episode of Unlimited Railworks. Bye.